Welcome to the 2Ds and an F podcast with your hosts, Jay and Mikey. In this episode of 2Ds, we will be playing clips from the first 10 episodes. The first clip is from episode 1, when we interview Grant Nunn. In this clip, Grant explains what it was like overcoming alcoholism and crawling out of the dark hole that is self-hatred.
You've always had a sort of a Norwegian energy about you, with your blonde hair and your loving, piercing eyes.
Well, they're clear today.
Can I kiss you on the mouth?
No!
Do you want to kiss me or
Scotty.
How you been, man? I haven't talked to you in years.
Well, I mean, we shot a couple texts when I came home from rehab. I know that.
Yeah.
Because my brother reached out to you, and you were one of the few who reached out to me, asking how I was, and but that was about it. It was just that kind of banter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm like a little over 2.5 years sober now.
Nice.
Which 5 years ago, we all would just laughed at that, like no fucking way,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been a wild ride.
Proud of you, man. That's no easy feat at all. It's
5 years ago. Yeah, you were kind of a mess.
I was
to be honest with you.
Mess.
I thought you were a fun guy, and then it just it turned raw, and I was just like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that was actually one of my things for I am probably an alcoholic if you think about how much I drink. I don't wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, start drinking.
I was doing that.
Yeah, I don't. I try to keep it if it's like a Sunday, I'll have a couple beers starting at 1 o'clock for football or something like that. Not even in the summertime, really. But I never understood how you could get so far gone with just wanting it all the time. How does it even? There's nothing else that can replace it. It's
self-hatred.
Yeah,
self-sabotage.
Lots of self-hatred. Lots of self-sabotage. I didn't like myself at that time. I was, just an empty shell. That's what I felt like. And the booze, for either if it was a good time, I wanted to be drunk. If it was a bad time, I wanted to be drunk, or at least just drinking. I could never step into a social setting without drinking before that. And I was always that person who had at least a case of beer in the trunk of the car, and probably a flask or a fifth of booze in the car somewhere.
Just everywhere you went, you just
everywhere
brought it
I
everywhere.
Went. Yep. And
it's like you knew I'm gonna need this in a couple hours.
Yeah,
I got to put this with me.
Yep. I would plan out my day. Towards the end there, I would hit different liquor stores, just so I wouldn't be noticed as an alcoholic by the employees there, the staff there. So
yeah, shame is a big part of it.
wicked shame.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a burden to anybody else, in my life, so I was having this inside battle with myself. And you get to the point where you don't even want to be here anymore, so you just drink and drink and drink, and you're drowning yourself. And, in my head, I wasn't an alcoholic. I was just always constantly running. Because in my head, like an alcoholic to me then was someone like Frank Gallagher, or, who's that dude from The Simpsons? Barney?
Mm-hmm. Always in the bar every minute of the day.
But I wasn't always in the bar. I was in isolation. I was hiding in my basement, hiding in my garage.
So you weren't out in a public scene. So that's what made you feel like it wasn't like an alcoholic situation.
Yep.
It was like you were just doing it for yourself, or something like that.
Yeah. Lots of isolation, which broke trust with me and my wife, because then she started finding the booze around, and she could tell I was drunk, but I was always like, no, I'm just tired.
Were you acting differently? Were you acting like maybe a little bit more violent or angry?
Towards the end there, I was definitely more of an angry person for sure. Because I definitely hated myself. I didn't like who I became, and you're talking 15 years, 20 years of just, person just running and hiding, and now all of a sudden I'm at that end, and we know a lot of people who got to that end and they caught it, they called it quits. I was definitely there, and then waking up in the hospital, it was just, that sucked. My parents were there, looking at me, and I think I was in the hospial for a day and a half. For
your liver, or what were you in the hospital for?
My parents stopped over. I was like completely wasted. Pretty sure I had 2 fists of gin in me. I know when I woke up in the hospital, there was a piece of paper sitting on the counter next to me, and it was 0.41, and apparently that was my BAC.
Damn.
So
dead.
That is
just about
lethal.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to be.
What,
and
liquor or
liquor? Yep.
Yeah,
gin too, just straight gin.
like bottles, multiple bottles.
2, yeah, yep.
2 bottles
fists.
will get you to that point.
2. I mean, there were probably other bottles too, because I was stashing them around in my house.
Oh wow.
At that time, and my parents stopped over. Because my mom knew I was going through a hard time, and she wanted to pop in, check on me, and they found me in that stupor. So it pretty much came to them driving me to the hospital, or they were going to call an ambulance. So I was like, well, just drive me to the hospital. And then I woke up the next morning, and I had these yellow socks on. Apparently they're the suicide socks. So you can't walk around the hospital
with yellow socks.
Yeah, you got to have like a person there walking with you at all times,
watching
you.
Oh, so they kind of dictate people on the color of their socks, like what their danger level is.
That's what I got out of it. Yeah, for sure. So I had these yellow socks.
Fuck that place is.
So Lehigh Valley Hospital, man.
Make sure you look at their socks. They got to always look down.
So yeah, if you got the yellow socks on, you're not walking around anywhere by yourself. And then the next thing I know, I went home, and it was like a scene from a fucking movie, man. I walked inside, gave my wife a hug, and gave my kid a hug goodbye, and I was like, I'm leaving for rehab, And it was like I could just feel the sense of relief for her, like, oh fuck.
What about your
Finally.
son? What about your son? Like, and that feeling between you and your son. Like,
he was 6, so I just told him I was going away for a little bit. I got to go get some help. And like today, he knows where I went. And towards the end of my stint up the rehab, it was an awesome rehab too. Honestly, like, it was probably one of the best times I've ever had. Going there, and it was like the first time I ever really laughed again, genuine laughter,
Yeah.
Did
you get sick? Did you get really sick when you got there?
No, they put me on, I forget what it was called. I think it was called Librium. It was something,
Librium.
It was like a
sounds
taper.
Appropriate.
So I didn't get like shakes, and all that, which I dealt with the shakes in the past, that was always the worst, getting sick. And that's also like when I used to get scared too, and I would just drink it away and completely forget about it, and holy fuck. Yeah.
Dude, I loved rehab as well. Like it
was awesome. I ate like a king.
Really stubborn about going.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, after the first couple of days were rough because I was in detox.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you start hanging out with everybody, and you just get this new sense of like starting over. Yep. And like I found it too, like I can be myself again, like I'm laughing like genuinely.
Like I enjoy myself.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't want to leave. I had my insurance wanted to kick me out 2 weeks into it.
Yeah.
And I told him, fuck you, I'm not leaving it, and paid for the last 2 weeks out of my own pocket, which was insanely expensive.
yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, my insurance covered it, which was great. And that's where like I found meditation, and it wasn't just like when I was like a teenager, I just think, I'm gonna smoke some weed and then I'm going off in this brain space, this head space, and that's meditating,
Mhm.
and no, it's not, it got dark at times, meditating because you're sitting with yourself,
Getting into your own head.
getting into your
Yeah.
own head, which can be a very scary place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have these layers upon layers of years and years of trauma and substance abuse and just all kinds of issues that you never dealt with, and now all of a sudden you're being asked to sit with them, so it's very scary. It was very scary for me in the beginning.
This next clip is from episode 2 with Scott Carroll, also known as Scott Sorry. Scott was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a tumor that affects the brain. Scott has a wife and 3 young children that he refused to leave behind. His story is one of great strengths and shows how willpower can be stronger than cancer.
I'm a hard-headed motherfucker, and I'm not leaving, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stick around. I keep telling my oncologist this. I was like, I have at least 3 graduations I have to make it to. Right. I'm not taking a no for an answer on that. So I I really like didn't worry about playing music at all, even though the first thing I did when I woke up after the surgery was I started singing Poison Heart, the Ramones song.
Yeah.
Right.
So wait, so hold on. They thought that you coming out of the surgery will kind of lose some of your memory or some of who you are?
Dude, no, they said, so before I went into surgery, okay, they told me that the best outcome I would have coming out of surgery was the way I was going into surgery. So I couldn't talk. I couldn't like read or write. I couldn't use my right hand. Couldn't
When
walk.
you went into surgery?
When I went into surgery, I couldn't use the right side of my body. I didn't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Damn, so it was really bad at that point.
It was horrible, man. It was like, dude, I forgot how to drive a car. I couldn't read because I couldn't understand letters. Right? I'm dyslexic anyway, but I legit couldn't understand. Letters just look like
just shapes.
Like shapes, yeah. Not even Arabic.
Did you recognize family members and stuff like that?
Yeah, I recognized people, but I couldn't talk and I couldn't have conversations. I could think of the words, but I couldn't figure out how to say words. Right?
Wow.
I was fucked up, dude. And they told my wife that was the best I was going to be. I'd probably be a little bit worse.
And when you got out of surgery, you were singing. So
when I came out of surgery, the first thing I did was sing Poison Heart. And I just started singing it to myself, and I was like, okay, I can sing. What else can I do? And I just kind of started doing this little checklist, and my speech wasn't, fantastic, but it was there because the pressure from them taking the tumor out, relieved a lot of the symptoms kind of immediately. And, I remember.
I can't believe it works. It works that fast. So that tumor was putting enough pressure in a spot in your brain that maybe you weren't getting.
It was the whole front side of. So.
That's a big tumor.
It was 2 inches.
That's huge.
It was 2 inches. If you see the pictures of it, there's pictures of it online.
Did you keep it?
Oh yeah, the picture of the.
You got
tumor.
it like a jar right now. The tumor.
No, I was thinking about it, but
Or they have to test it maybe or something like that.
they sent it out. They had to send it
Yeah.
out to the Mayo Clinic to have it tested and see what it was. And actually came back that I had a super tumor. So not only did I have the big, nasty glioblastoma, right? I also had this little fucker on the tail end of it that was like this super, like glioblastoma is already pretty rare, but I had this tail end of it that was a different kind of tumor that's more rare than glioblastoma and could travel into my spine, right? So I had like this fucking super tumor, and yeah, it was nasty. So they had to send that out to the Mayo Clinic, and they actually had it tested twice because they were like, "There's no way he has both of these," and I would definitely had both of them.
So it was almost like 3 strikes, you're out. You only got 2. You were just sitting back waiting for that third strike, or like how was that? Like just sitting back and like waiting for them to test this thing, or did you not care at that point? You just got kind of your, yourself back a little bit.
Well, when I came out of surgery, it took 2 weeks for them to really tell me what it was. They told me when I came out of surgery, they're like, "We think it's cancer. We don't know what kind of cancer." I waited 2 weeks, and that sucked, right? Because I'm already like, they're like, there's cancers that are easy to treat. There's kinds that are impossible to treat. And they're like, we just have to wait and see. So waiting those 2 weeks fucking sucked. And then it was almost it wasn't a relief when they told me, but when he told me, and he was like, "You have glioblastoma," right? And I was like, "Okay." And he looked at my wife and I, and he was like, "Why aren't you freaking out?" So he told me, and I was already prepared, I guess, because I mean it sucked, but I was like, the second he said it, I was like, now I have a face. Now I put a face to the name, and now I know who the fuck I want to, like, whose ass I want to kick.
Right.
Right. And I'm not saying that to be tough guy because it sucked, but that was my thought process. It was like, now I know who I need to go after. Right. It's like a kid in school. Like someone fucks with you, you're going to go after them. And it was the same mentality. I mean, it was.
So were you doing like a lot of research on it, how you could beat it and stuff like that? Or were you just listening to the doctors? I'm sure you were researching the hell out of it, and your wife was too. I mean,
yeah, we were researching the hell out of it. And the thing is, you put in glioblastoma into a Google search and it comes back, you're dead, right? Like there is no.
So probably better not to look it up then in that case.
Just ads for funeral homes on the side of the page.
Right. It's basically Google. If you Google fucking grilled cheese sandwich, you're 2 clicks away from dead.
Yeah.
You know? It's not the best resource, but it does have. I mean, you can go down different wormholes and fucking try to
with
find
anything, probably.
right. But at the end of the day, it all just came up with like no cure. So I started researching just holistic things, right? Like holistic things I could do. And I started implementing those things kind of straight away. Like I went strictly vegan. I really only ate raw fruits and vegetables for basically the first year, right? Like that was it. And like I learned about like chlorella, which is like a type of algae, and spirulina and wheatgrass and all this shit, and really kind of got onto this whole holistic like.
So yeah, you were attacking it with like herbal stuff, like natural things, not
Right.
not prescribed drugs over the counter.
Well, no, I did. So I did. I did chemo and radiation, right? I did chemo and radiation for 6 weeks, and I worked the whole fucking time. And
Jesus.
so I would go to my chemo radiation appointment. I'd get done with that. Like I'd go. Well, the chemo I would take as a pill. It's called Tamidar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you take it as a pill, and then I would go to radiation, and they'd fucking microwave my head for 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever. And then
That's wild.
I'd drive straight to work and work an 8-hour shift.
How can they do that and the rest of your brain be okay?
I don't know.
You just show up working
just
a shift at Home Depot by accident. Like,
I know. I was like, 6 months later, I was like, I probably don't even work here. I'm probably just mumbling around. And you guys just let me think that I'm like the manager of this place.
This next clip is from episode 3 with Ryan Ray. Ryan is a physician's assistant dealing mostly with cardiovascular issues. In this clip, we discuss nudity in movies and the beauty of having a toddler while self-medicating with whiskey.
I think the first movie I ever watched, like that I got uncomfortable, was with Pops, like our grandfather.
Yeah.
He would pick us up from school every day, and he'd pick me and he'd hang out with me and Shane for a little bit, and he took us back home, and we watched Titanic. And there was like a sex scene in the Titanic, and I'm like 6,
he was painting her,
whatever the hell it was, because like I was 10 or whatever. I'm looking at Pop, and I'm like,
wow, you were 10.
I'm like, yeah. I was like, do you know what's going on here? Like, did you do this? Like, I was so uncomfortable. But I was like, God damn it. I don't want to look at him. Like, what do I do? I'll never forget it because I was like, this is so weird. I couldn't wait till it was
and
over.
like your parents would never let you see that. It was like, it was your grandparents.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that show you. Because they were like, oh, fuck you. I'm watching whatever I want to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm watching you, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
you didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. When's your mom coming?
Yeah. Oh, man. He was cool, man. We had a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, fucking A.
Yeah.
I like don't know what I want to show my kids though. There's a bunch of movies I want to like watch with my kids and shit. I want them to watch Superbad, I think.
Okay, later. You're see, now you're getting into like your late teens.
I know.
In my eyes. But in your head, what is the age?
I guess it would be like later teens, like 12, 13, 14, something
Those
like that.
Those are early teens, but okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, 12 is not a teen, but
12's a teen.
You almost there?
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm going to be like, yo, dog, you're basically a teenager, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Here you go. Birds and the bees, here you go.
Dude, I don't know.
Apple pie and fucking this man.
Like, I don't know. I can sit back and say all I want until I actually have
Watch some Dane
fucking
Cook.
kid.
You'll be all right.
You'll be fine.
Shocker.
You'll be
Put the shocker up.
You'll be stupider, but like...
Yeah, you'll be a lot stupider.
But you'll love it, man.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You're almost
I'm not
13,
sure.
right? Why don't you drive me to the store because I'm already fucking drunk.
Yeah. Go get daddy another bottle of booze.
I'm out of beer, son. Let's go. Put on some Luke Bryan. Get in the truck.
Luke Bryan.
We got to charge it up at one of those
Put
stations.
on that shitty video. I want to see it.
It's real. The one where he takes a compound bow. Pushes it in.
This motherfucker. Who's got a lighter? No one smokes here, sir.
Sir, no one smokes.
No
for
one
years.
smokes.
I got a pack of matches.
2020.
We vape now.
Yeah.
He had 13 scotches and he keeps trying to recite lines from Bloodsport.
Yeah, dude, I don't fucking know. How is that like? Okay, so like with your son, like, well, I don't even know. Like, I'm sure it's flying by. Like, do you have like a set thing
it's
of
long? It's fucking real long.
Really?
3 years feels like 10.
Damn.
I'm telling you. But once you get to a certain point, look, there's good points and there's bad points.
I'm sure.
Right?
I'm sure.
Right now is not a good age. It's just like
He's just like
he's
real
figuring
curious.
things out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's
It's new to him. His first time.
and he doesn't know how to express himself, and that's the biggest problem.
Right.
It really is.
How do you help him with that?
You gotta suck it up, and you just gotta like I wouldn't say let him. You gotta let him tantrum out if he throws a tantrum, because there's nothing you can do about it. You can sit there and fucking, do you want this? Do you want ice cream? Do you want this? And like he'll just keep doing the same. Like, so you let him go. You walk away. You kind of collect your own head, and then you come back. You say, "Are you done?" And if he's not done, you walk away again. So it's just like, it's very time consuming, but there are very beautiful points to it.
I'm sure.
And it's not always like that.
Right.
It's like when he's in my arms and he's just snuggling me, it's just like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'll
Doesn't
be
happen
cool.
often.
But when it does, it's cool.
I'm probably fighting him more than I'm doing that, but like it's still like, and every morning's a battle. Every morning's a battle just getting them dressed. You know, maybe it's not with all kids and maybe it's not with girls, but it's with this particular boy.
It's just your son.
You
Yeah,
know?
whatever.
Yeah. But it's not, you can't ever beat yourself. It's like, it's nothing you did wrong. It's just like, well, maybe it is because you were born and then you fucking had a kid. So you should have thought about that before you did that. No, but it's like he's got a part of me in him, so he's just like a wild maniac. You
It's
know,
awesome though.
yeah. Like before I started telling myself to settle down and learning how to settle down, you know, I was like him. So, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like got to be cool too, like because you had no idea from birth how he's gonna be like at each stage. Like he could be like totally turn the fuck around.
You get a gist of it.
You think so?
It's I mean, as a human being, we're kind of all the same. You know, we all think differently, but we all like there's stages of a child where it's like, okay, 3 months, this is gonna happen.
Yeah,
6 months,
that's true.
This is gonna happen.
That's true. Like the milestones and all that.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what to expect at that point.
Right.
But like after a certain age, it's like, okay, are you gonna be a demon? What are you turning into? But
I know it's like a lot of question with that shit. Like his individual personality, like he's gonna hit mechanical milestones, and hopefully my fucking kids do the same. But it's gonna be cool
you
to
plan
be
on
like,
having kids though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It'll be stoked. I've definitely for some
How many
reason
kids?
been more into it. I don't know. Hopefully, I at least would
You
like
talk about
two.
it yet?
Yeah, definitely.
You would like to?
I would like
to.
to.
How many is she like?
3. So
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Good luck. Good luck with one.
It's gonna be awesome. We're having 5 right off the rip.
Yeah, there you go.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I hope you have fucking twins.
We're
Two
gonna
sets
rip
of
this
twins.
off. It's gonna be sweet. As long as I don't have girls, I'm cool with it.
Wow.
I'm cool with it.
You are a sexist bitch.
I am. I definitely am. I don't want
What?
boys coming to my fucking house asking for dates,
Yeah, but
prom, all that shit. I just don't want to.
Girls are a little easier in the beginning, though. They
Yeah,
are.
I would totally take the trade. I would rather take like the trade of being like, yo, we're going to football tonight, right? All right, cool. We're gonna do that. Basketball, and then like you have your daughter there, she's cheerleading, and you're like, oh my fucking god, I just gotta like protect this girl. Like I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think the beginning stages of basketball and football and softball or whatever baseball are? It's just like
Everyone.
boring as shit.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's fucking boring as shit. The first like 3 or 4 years are just like, oh, like where's my phone? What am I doing here? But after that, it gets fucking cool.
Yeah, but seeing Bryce grow up has had to be awesome. Like,
Yeah. There was a certain point where it's just like it became like exciting. You know, the sports. Like I wasn't really into sports. Like I like to play them. I didn't like to watch them, except if I was going to a game or something like that. But like watching this kid progress from boring as shit to kind of exciting was actually like pretty cool. And then you go get a hot dog and it's just like, that's cool.
What's up, dog? Yeah,
Drink
it's
some
cool.
beers. Fuck it.
Like when you guys have your first beer together, that's gonna be like, damn, I can't believe
I don't
it.
think he's gonna drink. I think he's gonna go down a different path.
Think so?
Yeah. He's very clean. He's very like I just don't think he's gonna do anything bad. Like, he's very cautious and he's very like
Smart.
He's a little uptight.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's not like I wouldn't call him like really crazy smart, but like he's just very he knows what's going on around him and he's very aware of it, but he dwells on it. Like he just doesn't want to like make a mistake.
I got
something
you.
like that, you know? Or like get hurt.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, it's okay to get hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like,
gonna
dude,
get
you're a
hurt.
kid. Get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
Get hurt now, because like when you turn our age, it sucks getting hurt.
Yeah.
You're hurt for days.
Yeah.
Twist your ankle now.
Yep.
I hate that shit. Here's the crappy part about medicine, man. The real deal about medicine is majority of things have some type of psychiatric component, and like they can be beat if you just look at yourself in the mirror or go to like actually get some mental help. But the pharmaceutical companies just push pills so hard.
That's what we were talking about with Scott.
It sucks.
That's how he claimed to kind of beat his cancer. Like he was on like what he was supposed to be on,
Right,
but
of course.
he claimed to like mostly beat his cancer by just being like
Positive.
fuck you, cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. Imagine
Yeah,
like
yeah. Oh, yeah.
if you have cancer, if you had like even stage 1 cancer, totally curable cancer, people get so depressed
Yeah,
Because
as soon as
they're
you're
like-
told you're going to die,
Yes, you're done.
thinking in your head, you're
I'm
going to
dead.
die. Yeah,
And like your life expectancy literally will go down.
yeah,
Like, but if you're a very positive person and you're like, nope, I got it. I'm going to take the meds I got to, might change my
Yep.
diet. But that's the thing that sucks. Like in cardiovascular disease, like a lot of the issues are revolved around people's weight. So like,
yeah.
and then nobody wants to put that effort in though, to like go for a walk, lose weight, not eat McDonald's, like shit like that.
Right.
So then they push pills.
Could depression be a part of that?
I think so. I think it's like a bad cycle.
so.
I
But
think
can
they get
but you
depressed about it.
can't like if you're, let's say you're like a heart doctor,
Mhm.
you can't prescribe like depression.
No, I could.
medication. Could you really?
I definitely could, but the problem is like it show a lot of studies show that like if you just do meds alone, the success rate is not even as close to as high if you do meds and counseling.
This next clip is from episode 5 with Julie Slick. Julie plays bass guitar and has collaborated with Crimson Project, Les Claypool from Primus, Danny Carey from Tool, Echo Test, and many, many more. In this clip, she explains one of her music videos and how she would like to someday write a cookbook.
Now, is that higher part? Is that you as well, Luke?
So that I'm just playing along to the original track that we recorded.
And mine's actually frozen.
Mine's frozen too.
Oh, great.
So
Hear it.
yeah, we can hear it.
Oh
You
boy.
can see my sweet leggings.
Yeah, those are pretty dope.
Those are pretty
leggings.
sweet. What
Yeah.
what the hell is that? A transformer or something? It's like a
Yeah, it's like a unicorn versus a T-Rex robot.
That's cool. And you got the
They're-
socks to match as well.
And there are 30 people that don't like it who I don't want to be friends
Wow.
with.
Wow.
frankly.
How could you not like this video?
I don't
Fuck
know. I think they're like, this painting technique is terrible.
Yeah. Who's this
They
kid in
didn't
the
use the
background?
right kind of drop cloths.
Yeah. So he's the one that made the video. It was his idea.
Oh, the kid, the guy that's painting?
Yeah. He had to paint his room in Queens and was like, why don't you... Cause,
All right,
like,
Mike, you turn it off now.
yeah.
But
Okay.
he just said, "Okay, can you paint my room, or can I paint my room while you're playing?"
Yeah, basically, he was like, because I was gonna hire him to do the Supercell video for Echo Test. We had met because he did the video work for Start Making Sense when we did the recreation of Stop Making Sense the fall before. So when we met, he gave me his card. If you ever need a video, I'm like, yeah, I want to make a video for my band. I was like, I want to hire you for this Supercell video, which is highly conceptual, and he thought, well, let's just do this other, like, I think I can help you get like a viral video, because I had just done one that I just recorded with my phone of me playing along to another Adrian Belew song from that record called B3. It's like a 90-second, 2-minute long song, and Bootsy Collins shared it on Facebook. All of a sudden one day I was getting all these notifications, like people commenting, and I was like, what? And I actually was at an Humphreys McGee show because I'm friends with Chris Myers from that band.
That would be a good jam band, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, all of a sudden I realized, like, looking at the original post, I'm like, oh, Bootsy Collins shared it. That's why my phone is blowing up right now. So in continuing with that concept, he was like, this guy was like, let's make you a better video, because I have like real professional
Him
equipment and
painting
stuff.
in the background.
Yeah.
He thought like,
How pissed were you when he slapped you with the paintbrush?
you can see that I'm really happy about it.
That was that on your unicorn pants, or
No,
was that on
I
your
would.
face?
He would be dead.
Oh, here.
No, those are fine. Those are in the
Oh, okay.
dresser over.
Okay, good. That's
Yeah,
good.
now that I'm looking at that full ass paint bucket right next to your pedal board.
Of course.
I'm gonna minimize that so I stop looking at it.
Yeah, it was a little stressful, and that's why I'm like so stoic and focused. But it worked. Obviously, how many views did that video have?
Yeah,
So
that's a good
Probably like off camera when it finished, you punched him in the face, didn't you?
yeah, yeah. All right, that's it. The last take.
You'll never paint rooms in this town again.
Yeah. And there, you'll notice, like, towards the end, like, the GoPro battery died. So I had to like re-record. So there's like few scenes where it's like, why is she in a different place and there's no painting happening? That's why, because we were missing that sweet fretboard footage.
You got to get creative. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nice.
Boy.
that's that story.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about cooking as well, because I've had the chance many moons ago to sample some of your culinary delights. I believe at a New Year's Eve party.
That makes sense.
That I got very drunk at and left, or I left and then got very drunk. Something I don't remember.
You probably got drunk at the party because that's what usually happened at those.
And then
parties.
left and got more drunk.
Yeah. But have you like with touring everywhere, being in so many different countries, like especially around Italy, is there anything that you picked up that you brought back here to the States with you that you know, like what's an average thing you make every day? Is it?
Well, I mean, I honestly, like, I should have been doing that. I will say this because, you know, we were in quarantine. I had a whole year to do it, but I've been threatening to like write a cookbook because there are definite recipes that I've learned all over the world that have inspired me, that I've adapted in, you know, my, you know, weird American mutt way.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it would be interesting to tell the story. It'd be the one time you don't want to, like, you know, you see these memes go around like, you want to confess to a murder, make a recipe and like put it in the beginning. So everyone's always just scrolls down to the bottom for the recipe. But I do feel like, you know, people would like to hear the stories like of Les Claypool drinking the Malbec you know, so like give a little bit of that. I mean, I had a blog back in 2008 where I kind of did that, and I like it was kind of like a tour diary, and then I talked about the food that we ate, and then I would like make a recipe for that. The problem is like the way I cook is the way I kind of make music. It's just all kind of like an improvisation. I'm like this and this and this. So I'm never really like writing it down and like getting it precise.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm like still struggling with that. But I mean, obviously there's a lot of Italian food. You know, having spent like almost basically half the year in Italy for a few years there in the beginning of when EcoTest started. So, I mean, for example, I made risotto yesterday. And then I've learned how to make pizza, of course, and, you know, doing it the right Italian way with not too many toppings because that's against the rules. And there's some Japanese dishes that I still haven't made that I would really like to make, like okonomiyaki, which is like savory pancake, and lots of things from Spain because I spent a lot of time there making tortilla. And of course, living in LA.
Did you run with the bulls when you were there?
Oh, hell no.
But I mean, was it going on? You just decided you didn't want to do it? Or...
No, I was in Granada. I wasn't in that part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pamplona.
Yeah. No, I was not there.
I just feel like bulls are running all over Spain. I don't know where.
No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm a pescatarian, so I'm not really into the whole bull thing.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of cruel what they do. So not kind of. It is very fucking cruel what they do. So
yeah. I did something similar to that here in the States. Obviously, they didn't like kill any bulls or anything like that. But there was a big tomato fight afterwards, which was crazy.
That
and
sounds
tomatoes
fun.
Fucking hurt when you get hit with a tomato.
I imagine, and that would be amazing slow-mo footage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking of writing a cookbook with recipes to make if you have trouble sleeping and you need to fall asleep. It's just very heavy, dense, starchy.
Get your chemistry
set
out. Or
that make you depressed and tired. So that
get the Dr. Dreadful drink lab out.
I have a recipe for you that I had earlier for lunch today because my mom encouraged me to make some like Jewish foods for Passover. So I made a kugel and oh my, I was like, it was like 3:00 today. I was like, I was watching that UFO video that you sent me, and it's very interesting.
Sharing.
And I was like 45 minutes in, I was like, and I like totally conked out for like 5 minutes. I was like, damn it. And so
was
I
that
like
Bob Lazar?
And
Bob Lazar video?
I just made a espresso, which is another thing that I learned from Italy is how to, you know, make a stovetop espresso very well.
Do you have to have a special machine for that? I always thought you had to have the thing that goes.
Yes, you can.
It makes like it compresses, or what the hell does it even do?
Yeah, I just have like a simple, like what every Italian pretty much has is just a mocha pot It's like a little stove top thing. It's super easy to do and takes 5 minutes on the stove. So it's perfect. So that's why I'm like, because I just had that right before this call to wake up.
I'm addicted to Monster Energy drinks.
Okay.
They don't wake me up. They just make me tired. Mm-hmm. And my heart is going 1,000 miles a fucking minute.
Perfect.
Shaking.
Perfect.
But still
Sounds
tired.
like you need to go see a doctor.
Dude, I quit booze. It's just Monster Energy drinks now.
Okay.
Nice.
Because that's more healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. So you watched a little bit of the Bob Lazar video?
So funnily enough, I started watching it and immediately I was like, oh, my friend Jeremy.
You know
that
guy?
dude?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Shut your mouth right now.
This next clip is from episode 6 with Corporal Chris Garringer. Chris is a Marine veteran who served in Iraq twice. After his duty in the Marines was up, he then joined the Army. In this clip, Chris explains the bond of brotherhood between the men and women in the military, and how even after almost lighting a building on fire, their voices remained silent.
I was like, fuck it, let's go 140. You know what I mean?
Jesus
just for like a
Christ.
split second. Just for a split second. Like, a, open highway, nothing going on at night, on the drive home. Like, just go 140 for a minute. You know what I mean?
You're
like,
just looking for that rush?
no, just like, dude, something. Like, dude, like, that's
Yeah.
what, it's just the excitement. Like, that's what
Yeah.
I miss. You miss that kind of excitement, and you look like a fucking nut job, bro, when you get out and you do this crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was in this culture of guys that all we did was crazy shit. You know what I mean? And then you get out and you're around civilians who are like, this guy's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, he's trying to do some crazy fucking shit. Dude, like, we would, like, party in the barracks. Like, party in the barracks was ridiculous. On a specific occasion, once again, people will remain nameless. We had just gotten all new furniture. All new furniture meaning is we got 50-year-old furniture from other people, right? So we had to move all this shit into the barracks. So we spent the whole fucking week moving our new old furniture in and our old furniture out. So we did all this shit. So we were told stack all the mattresses on the side of the barracks, so we stacked all the, like, you're talking like, bro, like fucking 400 mattresses stacked up on the side of a building, right? So obviously Friday night hits, we're drinking, we're getting fucked up. We got this great idea. Yo, bro, let's jump off of the 3rd story onto these mattresses. So here we are, jumping off 3 stories onto these mattresses. And then some asshole, who was probably the most awesome asshole I've ever met in my life, got this great idea to fucking start them on fire. So here we go.
On the side of the barracks.
Dude, have you ever seen 200 mattresses on fire before?
I mean, it's the logical
and it
next
was
step.
probably the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Were they still against the building?
Oh
though?
yeah.
How-
Oh yeah.
You didn't worry about...
No. We weren't thinking. I mean, dude, I'm really surprised at how fast base fire department showed up. They showed up 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and they were there.
That's not too quick. For them being like 2 blocks away.
No,
It's pretty
dude.
slow.
Oh, dude. Like, trust me. Like, they were like technically like 40 minutes away on base. Yeah, because our base is.
And those are Marines, right?
Yeah, crash fire rescue.
So what did... Were you guys obviously you guys took off. You guys were not sticking around.
No. We were drinking beers. We were
you
standing.
stayed
There
there?
were like 100 of us standing around the decks just watching this thing all fucking on fire. Nobody asked questions until Monday.
Oh, okay. Wow. So I'm assuming they just kept it within the squadron. They didn't want that one to leak out.
No. They made a deal about it. They made a huge
But
thing.
you didn't get like a... What,
No. Nobody got in
Artic-
trouble because nobody ratted anybody out. But yeah, we.
What do they call them? Article 15s? Do you have Article 15s in the Marines?
Yeah, Article 15s.
Is that means you're out. You're kicked out. You're
Yeah,
booted.
you can get kicked out for
That's,
that shit.
That's
Yeah.
not even a general discharge.
No,
It's
no,
like
no.
you're fucking...
That's a discharge
Dishonorable.
under dishonorable condition or other than honorable conditions.
Okay, so it could be general then.
Yeah, well, or you could get a bad conduct discharge for it too. You won't get a dishonorable
But
for
you
it.
guys didn't get that.
No, fuck no, we didn't.
Is this in the Army or the Marines? This
This
is
is the Marines. Oh yeah, it was in the Marines.
Yeah. Did you do any shit like that in the Army?
No.
They were just like straightforward, and you were
No.
like, "I'm bored."
No, like I mean, when these guys got bored, they'd fucking I don't know, kick each other in the nuts or something. I don't, dude. I wasn't into it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie, dude. Like, it was. I did go into the Army with a weird mentality, not a weird mentality, but like a complex about like, all right, Marines are better than the Army, whatever. And I carried that over. But then when they actually proved to me that I was right. I just fucking, I was like, because all right, that's the thing though. You got to remember though, I was in like the regular army reconnaissance. Like I wasn't like with Rangers. I wasn't with like Delta or Green Beret. I was like with these regular ass fucking like
ground troops and shit.
Yeah. So they were like
grunts, or who's them? They were Marines grunts or Army grunts.
They're both grunts. Grunt is a term used for.
Is that derogatory?
No. It's used for your MOS. Like if you have a combat arms skill, you're considered a grunt. Like your reconnaissance, if you're a Cav Scout, if you're fucking artillery, even is considered a grunt. Mortarman, like all that shit. Rifleman, you consider that a grunt. You're a grunt. But yeah, I mean, it's just. Fuck, dude. Like, they were like, it was like that kid in school that tries so hard to be your friend. Like, that's what the Army was like, dude. Like, that was literally what the fucking Army was like. And it just gets to the point where it's just like, dude, all right, whatever.
Did they look up to you because you were
they didn't
a
know
Marine?
For a while, they didn't even know I was in the Marines.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you went around and bragged about it.
I wouldn't. But when the fucked up thing about it was, I'd gotten out of the Marine Corps as an E4. But in E4 as a corporal in the Marine Corps, non-commissioned officer. Uh-huh. I'm at that point I'm a non-com. But in the Army, I'm a specialist, which is not a non-commissioned officer. So I like literally was like back at the bottom. Like they
wait. So E4 is commissioned or not? It's
non-commissioned
NCO.
officer.
Yeah.
It's an NCO in the Marine Corps.
And then Army, it's not.
It's not. No.
But that's weird. Because I would think that Army would make rank. No, Marines would make rank quicker. Probably, so that makes sense then.
Well, not necessarily. A lot of Marines get out a Lance Corporal, honestly. A lot of Marines don't get out E4s. A lot of Marines get out E3s. Yeah. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on your cutting score and the boat space for your MOS. Boat space meaning the amount of guys that they're allowed to promote that month. And the score always changes. I mean, you might fucking, be an expert rifleman like on the range because it takes a lot of things into account. It takes your rifle score into account. It takes your proficiency in conduct. It takes all these different like variables into account. But you could be like this fucking total squared away Marine, and then they'll be like, nah, your fucking MOS is zeroed out for the month, zeroed out for the next month. So you could go like fucking a year like rating a promotion, but get zeroed out and never get promoted.
Do you have to take tests for promotion?
Not anything necessarily. You have to do what's called MCIs. The Marine Corps actually has its own college type deal thing. Some of the classes you can do are ACE accredited. You actually get college credits towards them. Mm-hmm. But in order to get promoted from a corporal, which was what I was, to a sergeant, you needed to do what was called your 8,000 series, which was all your leadership skills. So you had to complete those. You could not get promoted to sergeant until you complete those. And I completed mine. And the thing was, all I would have had to do to get promoted to a sergeant after 4 years was re-enlist. If I would have re-enlisted, I would have been promoted that next week. You know what I mean?
The next clip is from episode 7 with Eric Steele. Eric helps explain the fundamentals of resume writing and why going to college could become an unnecessary expense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually like really glad that I went in the military instead of went to a college, because is college really worth it?
I have a 2-year degree in web graphic design.
Okay.
That is not what I do now.
So what do you do now?
I figure out how to build websites. Like I figure out.
That sounds like web design to me. What you just explained is web design.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you break apart those two words and then put them back together, yeah. There's like, what I went to school was for like the aesthetic stuff, like making pictures, like making things look good.
Yeah.
Now what I do is I like help people figure out how to build complicated stuff. Like I try to figure out like the questions that we need to ask in order to actually get this stuff built, and then I like break it up into work that multiple people can do. Okay. And is absolutely not what I went to school for. You don't need to go to school for this stuff. I think like we're gonna start living in a new time where like I would, everybody listening to this, go to a community college instead of going to a like university, at least for the first like year or two. Nobody wants to be on it right now.
I tried and failed twice to enroll in community college.
All right, you don't belong in school. I went to community college for I think one semester for TV and film, which was kind of cool. It was actually kind of cool. Like you got to act and you got to be behind the camera, and you also got to it's like a rotation, and you also got to be the director, like in the TV room, saying go to camera 1, go to camera 2. I thought it was really cool. One semester definitely was not enough for that, and I don't think you need to go to school if that's what you're looking to do. You know what I mean? Because you're going to wind up spending, $60,000 or whatever it is to get a 2-year degree in TV and film, and where are you going to work?
Right.
Yeah,
you're gonna do.
You still got to know somebody. You still got to suck
pay.
some dick in that field to get around.
Yeah.
Right. So I did.
I wish
one
I hadn't
semester.
just like passively agreed to that. Like,
well, yeah.
There are a lot of other.
No, you
ways.
got to suck some dick, dude. I did one semester, and I was just like, I realized I don't want to suck dick, so I got out of there, and because it was favorites, like the teacher was like playing favorites, like putting their fucking favorite person on the best role, or whatever they wanted, and shitty old Jake Ellis getting stuck in the fucking janitor closet.
Were you the tree?
Yeah, I was
the tree.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got the hell out of there. I was like, this is not for me, and especially not community college, because I wanted to be an engineer at that point, an electrical engineer, and there was nothing there for me to do. Like you can get a couple credits, but you couldn't take it any further than that.
Yeah, but that's what you should do there. Like that's what a community college. I think the value in community.
But
college
it wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't go to Penn State. Like those credits, Penn State wouldn't even accept those.
Huh?
Yeah, it was fucking weird. It was
that's
stupid.
weird.
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking scam.
That sounds wrong.
Yeah, but that's Lehigh Carbon Community College or whatever the fuck. LL's whatever. L-Tri-C. Yeah. Bullshit.
And Penn State too. So we gotta
and Penn State.
They've
Fuck
made
those
some bad
motherfuckers.
decisions.
They're losing out.
Yeah.
On a good alumni.
Yeah. But I still stand by what I said. Like
you would
start a
blow
community
dudes
college.
to get a TV. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that community college is amazing. I think it's a valuable thing.
Well, we disagree there, because I don't think if you're gonna do it, just fucking do it. Go all out and do it. If you're gonna spend the money, don't go to community college because you think you're not smart enough to get into a regular university, because you are. You know what I mean?
But that's the bullshit part. Community. I got. I think the best classes that I took in my college career were at a community college, and definitely not at the university that I paid at least 10 times as much.
But you don't get the you don't get the credit on your resume. Is that the biggest fucking thing? You know what I mean?
You get the credit to the school. Like you start there, you transfer.
But the schools don't matter. It's like your resume is what matters. Unless you're going to work for yourself. If you're going to get a job from someone else, your resume was what matters, and you better fucking only make it one page. I'm tired of reading fucking paragraphs and 3 pages of fucking resumes. Make it one fucking page. Get to the point.
One page. Yeah. Cut out your education.
No. Okay. All right. So you can put your education on the second page if you want to.
Yeah. I want to see what
education
you can do.
Is very important.
Right. It's okay. Education is
on
very
a resume.
important. I don't want to hear about on your resume. You do not need to put all of the stuff you did. Tell us where you went.
Yes.
Tell us what degree you got.
Yes.
Don't tell us.
Don't tell me that you helped the janitor out mop the floors, fucking, or
right.
you did this, for this teacher or what. I don't want to hear about your extracurriculars. Yeah.
Like good. You should have them. Like totally,
yeah, absolutely. But keep that to your fucking self.
Keep it to if you need an extra page on your resume to do it. It's not important. Right. Doesn't matter.
Keep it one fucking page.
Your lacrosse experience does not matter.
Yes.
If you were applying for a job.
If you have military experience, put it at the top.
Put it on top.
Boom. Done. There. Don't put it if you were in the military 10 years ago. Don't fucking have a 5-year gap in your job work and put military at the bottom, and then fucking 2 pages of what you did in the military, or whatever job you had before. Like if you're gonna apply for an engineering position, especially, like, keep it short, and then when it comes time to interview, then you can explain everything.
Right. Give me a title. Give me a time there. Give me a bulleted list.
Yeah, because from your title, we know what you do.
Right.
You don't have to fucking explain every little thing.
Right. If you make it easy to read, you'll get an interview probably.
Yes.
Like, realistically.
That's who I fucking pick. I'm like,
right.
I'm not reading this paragraph.
I want to read a resume that is like a menu at a brand new restaurant. Like,
very small and to the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, when Gordon Ramsay comes in and he just like rips out like 3 pages of like cheddar bacon soup. Like, this, you don't need this shit here. You don't need to make this. Yeah. These are the 5 things that you are serving here. Like, that's what your resume should be like. Like, people reading resumes have to read a lot of them at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is not
hundreds.
It's
in fact,
it's a lot. And if you can make their life easier when you're doing it, God, just make it shorter.
Yeah.
And don't bullshit. Seriously. Oh my God. Don't just. It's so easy to read. This is our resume building podcast.
The next clip you're about to hear is from episode 9. In this episode, Jessica Gellis and Megan Steele take over for a Mother's Day special. Megan talks about her days living amongst a sex cult in San Francisco and describes her run-in with the FBI.
Another very unorthodox situation. It was basically underground dinner theater, invite only. We didn't market. We went and friends talk to friends, and it was kind of Eyes Wide Shut themed. Which have you seen that movie, Jess?
No.
Eyes Wide Shut. So, basically, it's your servers are masked and they wear white doily aprons and a black skirt and a white server top, and everyone's pretty much dressed the same. Again, masked, and guests come in.
Not COVID masks. Like
on their eyes.
Masquerade.
On their eyes, masquerade masks. So funny.
You have to define that these days.
You have to, right? Didn't even think of that. And so guests sit down and they start with just a nice like hors d'oeuvre, and and servers do little dances to serve you the food. It's very like dinner theater, and it's fun and playful.
Sexy dances?
So
like erotic?
At first it's fun and playful, and with like a like flirting with flirting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the server takes off her top.
Oh, surprise.
And she has just a nice lacy bra underneath. And
there's your dessert.
That wasn't even it. That's just the appetizer, girl.
Keep going. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
first course.
Then second course comes, and then slowly lose pieces of clothing until the servers are in bra underwear and still their white doily apron, and we just had a lot of fun like unfolding this different type of dinner theater. And
that sounds fun.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I got to do this really cool thing with my boyfriend. I got to design a new business. We worked our asses off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of those white doily aprons got bleached and pressed,
disinfected, and
and pressed and everything. Like, we did everything, and it was so much fun. It was so much work.
Who cooked the food?
I've never been more tired. Chris, my boyfriend at the time, cooked the food.
So you guys would come up with an inclusive menu, and
that
was it.
Like at the first, I think the very first dinner was actually friends that I had lived with previously. They were involved with Burning Man. Like they ran Burning Man, and
is that a festival?
Yeah, it's a festival in the desert.
Okay, yeah.
Every September, I want to say. Yeah, and so yeah, at first we did it for them, and then it was just all word of mouth. Like their friends talked to their friends, and then we just kept having new fun people.
And did you guys make good money off this?
We made no money off of it. So flash forward to FBI. Recently, randomly got a phone call from the FBI saying, "Yeah, we heard that you lived with these crazy people in this crazy cult, and we want to hear more." And I was like, "Oh yeah, so these people, this thing, and let me tell you all about it." And very innocently thinking like, well, I'm just going to help them get information that they probably already have because it's very accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we scheduled an interview for them to actually come in and talk to me, and just that time of processing, like, oh shit, okay, so I'm going to be talking to the FBI about this cult that I lived in, and I don't think I'm ready for it because I don't really talk about this stuff very often.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that I didn't realize it until I was thinking about it. I don't think I'm ready to process everything I went through.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things that honestly I have a little bit of shame around.
Do you think that you were ever taken advantage of?
I do, 100%. Yeah, I was manipulated a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I see exactly where I was manipulated. And yeah, there's some shame around it, and there's some things I need to work through on my own to figure out like what happened.
I mean, like, I'm going to ask the obvious question because the FBI is investigating you at this point. Were there crimes that were committed?
So they're not investigating me.
Not investigating you, sorry. The whole, the cult.
Yeah, they're investigating the cult.
What did you guys call yourselves? Did you guys have a name?
No.
Okay, we'll just call it the sex cult.
Sure.
Okay, so...
Oh, the name of the community?
Yeah.
It's called One Taste.
Okay.
So y'all look it up if you want.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
But yeah, I mean, in your like personal opinion, do you feel like there's crimes being committed?
I would say that there were some mishaps. I don't know about crimes. Because I wasn't around for a lot of the crazier things that I've been hearing, so I can't speak on it. But essentially it was like just trading sex for money. People would...
Prostitution?
I guess so. Yeah.
I think that's the definition of prostitution.
Sure.
Okay.
I think it's just a gray area, and I'll
Okay.
explain it because
Okay.
Basically One Taste would make their money off of workshops of transformational workshops.
What's that mean?
Like I don't know, like you go to a workshop for meditation, or you go to a workshop to like learn about yourself. So like a class, like a weekend long class.
Like how we go to yoga.
Sure. Yeah. Like a yoga retreat or something like that. So it's like a full weekend.
A sexual yoga retreat.
Yeah. That's pretty damn close.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess there came a time when they would charge like tens of thousands of dollars for these sexual yoga retreats, and that's all I know. And there was apparently a promise that if you took this workshop, then you would get like an orgasm, or you would get to have sex with this person or something.
So it was like promise.
This is all hearsay. Yeah. Because I was not around during those times.
Do you know, you don't have to name them, but like high-end, important
people?
Rich clients?
I know that they worked with Goop, so Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay.
There's an article on the Goop website about them, and Gwyneth Paltrow was involved. I think at one point, Courtney, one of the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian, was involved.
No shocker there.
I guess so. I don't know. So yeah, I think there were a lot of high profile names involved at a certain point, because they tried to get into the mainstream media. I mean, they did everything they could to get into mainstream media. I mean, when I was involved, we were in the New York Times, and we actually set up our phone lines because we thought that we were going to get like an influx of like hundreds of calls. And so we like did all this crazy stuff with our phone lines. Not one person called. Article. Big disappointment. Yeah, so I think they were grasping at straws at one point, and they just got a little money hungry.
I mean, it sounds like it sounds pretty bad. It sounds
not great.
like
not great.
It's
So yeah, sitting back on it after talking to them initially, I was like, I actually don't know a whole lot about like the shit,
the stuff that they want to know about.
Yeah. So called him back, said, I don't think I'm your girl. Like, I don't have a whole lot to give here.
You can just tell the FBI no, thank you.
Yeah, and then they can subpoena me if they want to, which is fine. Like,
did you say that?
No, because I'm not gonna like dare them to subpoena me. But I'm perfectly willing to talk. I just don't want to.
If you don't have to.
Yeah, I just don't want to revisit certain parts of my life right now. There's some therapy that will be involved before I do that.
Yeah.
Which they offered me.
The FBI?
Yeah.
Well, fucking thanks.
Yeah. They were like, well, if it's too much, we do have a therapist that you can work with. And I was like, that's
so sweet.
Nice. No.
They're so sweet. Let us dig into your mind and bring up all this suppressed emotions and
let's trigger the shit out of you.
Let's trigger you and then let's fix you.
Well, who knows? They could just leave me broken on the side of the road too. Who knows?
Yeah, I know I wouldn't.
They're not invested in me.
Okay, bye. Thanks for the info. Bye.
The next clip you are about to hear is from episode 10 with Ash Abazari. Ash explains how he tried to self-medicate to treat bipolar and depression after doctors have failed to diagnose him properly. This is a big problem in the United States, but just know that if you are looking for help, there are people and places to reach out to. Now enjoy the clip.
I don't like to complain about anything, and even especially then, I wouldn't complain about. I wouldn't make any complaints. So I got on an antidepressant, and when I realized like things weren't working, I didn't tell the doctor.
Most kids are like that. They kind of hold it. And they're like, whatever. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought, well, I went like the professional route. Let's go like the street route. That's when I was like, well, let's see what else is out there. And the whole year too, I was still on an antidepressant. And I mean, I went from trying like every level of hallucinogens. Not the best for somebody with bipolar. Some of the experiences were amazing too. I remember like the first time I did mushrooms was, and they're doing a lot of really groundbreaking research with that, with psilocybin now and depression. I think they're doing.
I heard something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're doing like a very different dosage, but I remember the first time I did it was like really cathartic. I mean, like I went from feeling like this to like feeling up here. I was just so happy. But with anything, it doesn't last. And then so you search for the next thing. And most of that year was just kind of like up and down, doing all different kinds of drugs at that point in time, just to feel better. And I think, I had like even joked about it too, but early on I was like, I would do heroin if it was around. I would totally try that. And the moment I heard like I could get it, like I pounced on it. And
so it wasn't even like pure pressure. It was like you just be like, I want to try that.
Yeah. I mean, that was
just reading about, drugs and what they do to you. I mean, that was one I was just like, well, that sounds pretty cool. I mean,
did you read about the consequences?
Yeah. I mean, I did.
And you still wanted to do it.
Yeah. But you have to remember, if a year before little Ash was like, yeah, I would jump in there and kill myself. So when you come from that, and there's a really good Kurt Cobain quote from some interview he did, and he was just like, I was really depressed and just suicidal, so I thought, well, I might as well do some drugs before I do that first. And I mean, like that to me like had resonance, because I was just like, well, and I would still get very, very deeply depressed to the point that like, I would think about suicide, and that if that was always an option, I was like, well, I could always do drugs too, good or bad. And I mean, the first time I did it, it was like kind of like a revelation, really. I mean, it made my brain feel totally normal. I mean, any paranoia, any like hallucination was just gone. Everything just like came into clear focus, and I felt like exactly how I wanted to feel. And I'm sure that's how it is for a lot of people who do it, because why would you keep doing it? I mean, obviously people talk about, the euphoria and like how high you get. But for me, it was like the normalcy, really. I remember feeling like I felt like I was a 5-year-old kid again. Like I remember just feeling normal for the first time in a very long time.
Is this heroin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have to keep doing more of it to keep feeling like this as the time went on?
Early on, I didn't do it a lot. I kind of, at least at the time, thought I was smart, And the interesting thing, the last year of 2001, 2002, I remember I got like my worst GPA ever. It was like 2.4. And I was always like 3.2, 3.5, like I did pretty well. And I remember the next year, senior year, I got like 3.5 right away. And my parents were like, oh, wow, things seem like they're going pretty well for you. And at that point, I had gotten off my antidepressant. I was like, I'm done. Almost to like the month of me doing heroin, I was just like, yeah, I've got this thing now.
Yeah, you didn't need it anymore.
Which, it sounds it sounds crazy to talk about it now like that. To be like, oh yeah, I was on Zoloft and then I switched to heroin. Imagine that commercial. Which, you look at those old Bayer ads. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Like a Bayer heroin from like the 1890s. And they're like,
there's an ad?
Yeah. Like Google it. They're like, it's wonderful.
Can you bring that up, Mikey?
Yeah. It's wonderful for coughs. It literally is like a Bayer pharmaceutical ad. And because originally it was for coughs, cough suppressant. And they're like, yeah, these guys aren't coughing. They're not doing anything else either, but they really enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, to me, I drank for the first time 1 year, smoked weed the next year, and then did heroin, which I always remember thinking like it was a pretty rapid progression. But like I said, I mean, when you're going through like depressive episodes like that, any bit of relief is like you gravitate towards it right away,
Yeah, it's almost like you were all in. Like you were just like, well, if I'm gonna do drugs, I might as well fucking do.
Yeah,
might as well find the one for me.
I was like all in right away. Yeah. And I mean that started probably the moment like I drank, and today I take medication for bipolar, so I finally found something that like stuck for me. So even if I drink now, it's like, okay, I've had a couple beers, I'm good. But back then I didn't really think there would ever be any kind of normalcy for that.
Dude, I remember when we took a trip up to the Poconos and we ate mushrooms and
Yep.
Watched Office Space a couple of times.
Yep.
And who was it? Was without naming names, I think there was a couple of us, and that was an interesting weekend.
Yeah, that was. I was thinking about that recently, Mike. The dude that was driving us there. I won't say names, but it was his cabin and his parents' cabin. Obviously, we were like 17. And I remember getting like somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it's like $100 worth of psilocybin." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "I've never had it before, so whatever." And I just remember eating as much as I could at the time. And like I remember,
was that the first time you ate mushrooms?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I had done LSD like a couple of times before that. But mushrooms to me were completely different. Just like visually and like what was going on. Like I feel like you could feel it in the brain totally differently than anything else. But yeah, I don't know if you remember, Mike, they the kid's parents, like he couldn't figure out how to get the fire going in the house. And I think he like lit a fire without opening the flue.
Yeah.
So we were all on like I just remember tripping out, and I'm like, why do I smell smoke? I'm like, maybe that's part of it. You know, the shamans, you know, you could feel this ancient smoke. And I'm like, oh shit, there's fire coming out of here. Like, and it was freezing too. I don't even remember that, Mike. It was like 40 degrees in the house because, you know, the kid's parents didn't know anybody was there, and he just had a key, and like there was no heat on. And I think that was like the main heat source was the fire. So we're there and we're like hallucinating and freezing, like freezing cold.
Watching Office Space on the loop.
Yeah. And I like, it's funny that you say that, because I remember bringing it. I don't remember watching it, because I do remember at a certain point the TV was on, and then I'm looking at the carpet that Jay has here, and I remember like this style of carpet just coming alive. Like everything on here was like about 6 feet tall. And I remember that's what I was looking at for what seemed like hours, was just like staring at carpet that was like just everywhere and alive, and kind of like totally terrified. But I remember by the end of it, the sun was coming up, and I remember feeling like, oh man, like I feel so good. Like I feel like I felt so relaxed and so relieved.
Yeah. That's what it was with mushrooms. When they would wear off, like that was kind of like my favorite time, because something just happens where you're just completely everything's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
you can like speak a little more like fluent. I don't know. It's so relaxing.
Yeah. I mean, like everything to me became like immediately clear. Like I just was like, you just felt really calm. I mean, like completely calm, which is, it's funny too, because I mean, you're going like through this crazy emotional ride, and at the end of it, whatever it is, 6 hours or whatever, you're just like as calm as you could be. You're probably pretty exhausted though.
Up all night.
Yeah.
But you can't sleep.
Yeah. And I remember, I don't know if we slept, Mike. I think I slept like a couple hours.
I don't think so.
And I don't know if you remember this, but we drove back to Allentown, and I'm trying to think of what road. So if you're coming down Cedar Crest and where Hamilton meet, we're like, what's that old 1776 or whatever place that used to...
the King George Inn?
Yeah, King George Inn, that's it.
Yeah.
So where that meets, you know, you can't take a right here. You can't take a right on this. It's one way this way. And I just remember Mike, the kid that was driving, who it was his parents' place, he was so like turned still at that point, or at least like exhausted from the night, that Mike goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, take it right here. Take it right here, bud." And he turns on his right finger, and we're like, "No, no, you can't take it right there." Like he was so like exhausted, and like Mike was just like, "Hey, right here, bud. This is where my house is."
And I lived nowhere near there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
I mean,
God.
like I just I remember that, and I just start like laughing so hard.
Yeah. Oh my.
We hope you've enjoyed the best of episodes 1 through 10. We will have more best of episodes coming out soon, 11 through 20 and 21 through 30. So keep listening, folks, and thank ya.